Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of the 80s Gamer Show. I'm Clayton.
And I'm Miles.
And I'm his dad. He is my son. I started playing video games in the 1980s. I was born in the last day of 1976. And you?
I was born in 2010, and I have no idea about any of the 80s games.
So any of the 80s games, Miles knows, of course he knows, Metroid, of Metroid, know of Zelda because you've been playing like Breath of the Wild, and right? So we thought, okay, this is just a way for me to get to hang out with my son. That's really what it comes down to. And I get to play games with my son. And we thought, how great would it be if we went back and sort of looked at old 80s games and we went through them together. We got to play some of these games together back in the day. So, and then we'll also, talk about new games as well. So the whole point of this show is we're going to introduce maybe a whole new audience to a classic 80s game, and then we'll play it together here on the channel. We'll get your experience, we'll get my experience, and then plus, we'll not just do 80s games, right?
Right.
We'll talk about some new games that we want to play. Like, what are some of the new games that you'd want to play or you're thinking about playing that are coming out soon?
Well, I've been thinking of the game Jedi Survivor.
What's that about?
Well, it's basically a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, right, okay. And what do you like about Fallen Order?
Well, just that, it's like kind of open world. And that you can use the Force.
Lightsabers.
You can customize your lightsaber.
You can?
Yeah.
You can customize your lightsaber in Fallen Order, so Survivor is the follow-up to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And that comes out, when do we know when that comes out? Like a few months, probably?
I don't remember. Yeah, a few months.
So we'll play that too, right? So we'll play some classics, we'll play some new ones. And so that's what the 80s Gamer Show is all about. Hopefully maybe there's some moms out there, some dads out there that grew up in the 80s and have a love of games like I do and maybe want to share some of these experiences with your son or daughter. And so that's what this show is going to be about. So I hope you will subscribe, become part of our journey, and hopefully maybe you can go through some of these games at the same time as us, right? So we have a couple of games already in our minds.
Right.
Or maybe I should say I have a couple of games in my mind, like an 80s game to kind of kickstart all of this. And we'll start there. And then, of course, we're also going to play new games. So I think the very first game that we're going to play, I know it's kind of, we're talking about 80s games here. This doesn't actually fall into the 80s, but it's definitely a classic. And the reason I wanted to start here is because it just was remastered. It just came out on the Switch. It was just announced last week. The physical copy of this game comes out, I think, in a week, but the digital download version is available now on the Switch.
Right.
And this classic game is called Metroid Prime, and it's the first of the Metroid Prime series. Now, what's cool about this, the very first game that I ever played, or ever won, the very first game that I ever beat on the NES was Metroid. And so it's kind of cool. It's nostalgic for me because I get to play this with you.
Right.
But to be able to play Metroid Prime together because it's a new remaster, and it's been so many years since I had a chance to play this game, and for you to be able to play it for the very first time. So we're traveling right now. Where are we right now? Can you tell us where we are?
We're in the Algarve of Portugal.
For what reason?
Because I have a cross-country meet. Or I had a cross-country meet.
So we had a cross-country meet today, and so Miles said to me, can we film tonight? Can we film the first episode? So we brought the camera, and so we've been road tripping, and Metroid Prime just came out. So here is Miles last night. He fired up Metroid Prime for the very first time last night. I shot a little film footage of that. Take a look.
Oh. So we're traveling this weekend, and this is my first reaction to Metroid Prime. I just had the opportunity to start the game, and I'm only to the point where I just learned how to open doors, and it's already awesome.
So you just learned how to open doors?
Yeah.
So And did you start scanning anything yet?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I just got to this big room where something had crashed in it.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea what it is, but it looks awesome.
What about the music?
Yeah, that's awesome too.
And doesn't her costume or doesn't her armor look amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go back and play?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Okay, so Metroid Prime, that was your first reaction to it. Let's talk about this game. And everyone, you guys go download it. If you have a Switch, download it on the eShop. You can do that, or wait a week and the physical copy of the game will come out. And then go through it with us. We're going to experience and play this game together. So, all right, we downloaded it. We started playing. What was your first reaction to take me through your first experiences playing the beginning of the game?
All right, so when I first saw the Metroid ship, I thought, like, well, first of all, what a cool ship.
Yeah. The colors.
Yeah, and then just how good.
It's got like little jets on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And they swivel around.
They swivel around, yeah.
But just how like good the game already looked good. And then you pop out of the ship, and you just see the first person with the gun.
Right. You see Samus with the
Yeah. And then you start firing, and that to me is the coolest feeling, because it's like, say, you're a Jedi and you're getting your first lightsaber. That's how it feels to me.
And what's cool is, from what I remember, because it was on GameCube when it first came out. Like, you get with the Switch, they added really nice rumble effects.
Right. Yeah.
So with the Joy-Cons, you get, when you land and you feel like for the first time you're going through that first corridor, and you blast open that blaster door, and you feel like boom, and you feel like, whoa, there's got some rumble effects in here.
Yeah.
And you can start to feel some of that. So this game, when it came out, was a game changer. And I think, in fact, the remastered version right now has a 97 on Metacritic. Wow. So a 97 score on Metacritic. That's how good this thing is. But from a first-person shooter, I grew up playing like Wolfenstein and Doom and those kinds of things. But this was like a whole other world. I mean, it just felt amazing. And just with all these little creatures running around through the corridors. Was it easy for you to see some of them? Because they were like hidden, and then they're like in the dark, and they're not like, they don't pop out like a Mario character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hate the little bugs. Sometimes they'll crawl up onto walls and then above the ceiling and then drop down onto you. That, like, I was playing it in bed, and I just had in my mind that the spider was gonna crawl up out of the bed. I don't know why. That's just what I felt like. There was bugs in my bed or something.
Well, and it was like shaking too. And then when you shoot those bugs in that first few minutes of the game, it's like squishing bugs, and then it gets all over the viewfinder, and you can't see out of it. It's like fogging up. It's like in Mario Kart when someone inks you, and you can't see, and you're trying to drive.
Well, that just shows how good the graphics are, because another example is like I shot a missile like at a door to try and open it. Didn't work. But I saw it in like the view or the what do you call it, the different visor.
Oh, the visor, the combat visor. There's a combat visor and a scanning visor.
Yeah,
so
but
far.
in the combat visor, I saw her face.
Oh, right.
Against the glass.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just thought that was really cool.
So we've been playing it on. I have the OLED Switch, and you want to hold yours up here? He's got the classic. So back in the day, you've got the classic. This was the one that Nintendo sent to me as a review unit way back when the Switch first came out in 2017. Nintendo sent this to me as a review unit. So he's got the old school. So we've been playing it on the small screen. We haven't even put it yet on.
Imagine
in the dock,
how cool that would look.
And on the big screen. And the graphics just look amazing. They look so beautiful. So, we've been going through this game, and I have to say, you got to try this. So today I was playing a little bit while Natalie was taking a nap. My wife, she's not feeling so well. So she's like, can you put on some headphones? I was like, yeah, okay. So I put on some headphones to play Metroid Prime, and oh my gosh, the sound, like, I'm telling you, try playing this game with some headphones on. You got to try that tonight, okay?
Right.
Because it's just like you're in this world, and you hear all these like little creatures, and you feel like what they've done with the sound engineering on this is really, really cool. So, but this is a classic, and what's amazing is it doesn't look like an old Wolfenstein game or Doom, like very pixelated. It's so clean and beautiful, and of course they remastered it, right? So it's gonna look better, but this was really ahead of its time for first-person shooters. You've got the locking mechanism, so you can pull the trigger and lock on your target.
Yeah, I would have died so many more times if I hadn't had the locking mechanism. Because, like, say you're, like, shooting there and the bug's, like, there, it'll, like, force your gun over there.
Because some of the stuff is kind of small, right? And so it helps you.
You're not going to be able to hit that on your own.
Yeah, it's really, and we know in like Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, like trying to shoot a bow and arrow sometimes, like it would be kind of cool if there's a locking mechanism in Breath of the Wild, although...
I mean, that would also kind of ruin it.
Yeah, because a lot of it is fun, like aiming from a distance to try to hit one of those like creatures or whatever. So, but this is cool because you're in a corridor and like you have to be moving quickly, and
there's that one part with the countdown at the end where
yeah.
it's like evacuate immediately, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
and
so
I think that was in the clip. No, or maybe it wasn't.
They showed some of that stuff in the trailer when you're having to get out of the. Well, this is the first level, so we're not, this, not much of a spoiler here. Like this is literally within the first 5 minutes of the game, and that's important. Like we want you to go through these with us, so we're just starting the game right now. So we're not very far. We're just on the first or second level of the game. And so we're going to take it slow. We're not trying to speed run these things and get through them. We're going to try to enjoy them as father and son. And but at the very first level, there's one of the boss guys. You're fighting this big parasite.
Yeah.
And right away, you're having to like evacuate. You're like, oh no, I've got like 5 minutes to run out of this place.
You'd think after a boss battle, like, oh yay, now I get to rest and get some backstory. But no, there's 6 minutes, you have to get out of this place now. And when I was going, there was just like, I kept turning into Morph Ball and just like going up this corridor, and it just didn't end this one corridor, and I had to keep, there was these bug things that kept dropping, and I had to open these things, just wait for the doors.
That brings me up an awesome idea, something I just thought of. So this is the first time, like, for me, Metroid, I remember the summer that I got Metroid, I used to draw the maps of the game. Like when I was in school, I think it was summer when I got it. I don't remember exactly when I got it. I just remember trying to, like, I would sit down and think about the maps, and like in school when I should have been working on stuff, but I was like trying to remember how I can get to this next boss battle so I can beat Mother Brain.
Sounds familiar in school.
Mm-hmm. And but then you level up, right? You get different missiles and you get Morph Ball. You don't start out with, actually in the first Metroid, I think you do start off with Morph Ball.
Well, I mean, in this game you do, but then it takes it away from you.
Then you take it away after the first level. So you get to experience like all these cool weapons in the first level, and they're like, sorry, malfunction.
Yeah.
So what I was going to ask you is, this is the first time in any Metroid game that you've got to experience Morph Ball.
Right, yeah.
And when you hit that button for the first time, what was that like?
Well, I mean, it goes from first person to third person.
Right.
And I'm just like, what? And
yeah.
And so I just like, I spent at least 2 minutes just going around in circles in Morph Ball.
Just playing around in circles, like a marble.
Yeah.
And then going through like some of the corridors. Is that cool?
Yeah, cause like you're like, oh, maybe I can like crouch to get down there or something.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, press Y. And so I turn into this ball and I start like speeding through these little tiny things.
Yeah. Super cool. So, now the game gets harder. So, that first level, it's on rails. Do you know the term on rails? Do you know what that means? Okay.
I mean, I was agreeing just now, but I don't know what
You're like, yes, no, I don't. So it's like a gamer term, right? It means like, instead of it being open world, it's keeping you on a track. It's keeping
Right.
you like on a training rails. Like, okay, we're going this way, but there is like when you're having to race out for that evacuation scene.
It doesn't tell you where to go.
No, you've got to. I can go here. I can go there. Maybe. Oh no, if I'm going backwards now.
I mean, like, that's the good thing about the game. It doesn't, like, hold your hand through the whole thing.
Right.
You know, it, like, oh yeah, now you gotta figure this out. It'll, like, take you to a room, but then you don't know what to do.
I love that. And then there's like on the wall, there's like scannable things that
Right,
you can
yeah.
either ignore or not, but it adds so much more to the game. So you can walk around a room and start scanning and finding about all these different like animals that are like growing.
Right. Yeah, but, like, in that countdown when we had to get out, I ignored all the scannable things unless I had to.
Oh yeah. Because to open up a door, you would
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
But, like, oh yeah, scan this plant. No.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow.
But like so Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild is not on rails at all,
Yeah,
right?
no.
You can
I mean, it tells you, like, oh yeah, go defeat Ganon, or, like, go to Kakariko Village, and then it tells you what to do from there, but then you're on your own.
Yeah, but so far, Metroid Prime is mostly, it's on rails, and you navigate through this story with maps. So this is really an amazing game. We're excited that you're on this journey with us for this game. So that's a classic game that we're starting with, and then we'll be more specific. We're going to hit some definite 80s and 90s games that I would really love for us to go back and play the original Metroid.
Right, yeah.
I would really love for us to go back and play like the first Legend of Zelda, and then even jump into like stuff on the Game Boy Advance, like the Minish Cap, which just came out on the Switch as part of the expansion pack. So now you can play it as part of the expansion pack. You don't need an old Game Boy to play Zelda Minish Cap. One of my favorite games of all time, and I cannot wait for you to experience this game, and I would love for all of you to download it, buy it. I think it's, even in the eShop, it's like $2.99 or something ridiculous.
What?
Or you can get the physical copy, which I did, and it has the first game, second game, and the third game on the physical copy is Dragon Quest, which was originally called Dragon Warrior in America, but in Japan it was called Dragon Quest. Dragon Warrior was game changer. It's the role-playing game that changed everything. I cannot wait. I want to play it with you. I want to go back to that. So we're going to play a lot of these fun games that changed everything for gaming, and you guys can come along on this journey. But we also are playing a couple of new games right now. Like, what is the new game that we just got a few weeks ago, got the special edition, and have been going through that?
Fire Emblem Engage.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Engage. So this was a big release at the end of January, and
At the first, I didn't even know if I would like it or not.
I didn't either because I've never played a Fire Emblem game.
But then we found my old DS,
Yeah.
and it turns out I had
Two?
two Fire Emblem games that you had just been giving me all these games, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I was addicted to my Mario Kart 7, so...
Yeah, so he never played it. So we've dug out his Nintendo DS, and there's Fire Emblem Echoes and Fire Emblem.
Three Spirits or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, we have to look. I think you're right about that. But these are like classic Fire Emblem games that we never played. And back in the day when I was reviewing technology stuff, like Nintendo would send me a lot of games for review, and I just didn't have the time. And plus I had new babies, so it was like...
So you just gave it to me?
I couldn't handle. So I gave you, and I had the special edition of Fire Emblem that I gave to you. God knows where it is. The disc we still have, but like the box in the move, like it got lost. Yeah, we started playing Fire Emblem Engage, and what a beautiful game.
Yeah. I mean, now I'm on chapter 10. I'm kicking your butt.
Yeah, he's beating me. I'm like chapter 7 or something. Yeah.
No, you're on chapter 6.
Okay. All right. So you're really far ahead of me now. Okay. So chapter 10. What do you like so far about Fire Emblem Engage?
Well, I mean, just like the art style of it is just awesome because, well, I mean,
So colorful too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I wasn't really an anime fan. You know, I wouldn't watch anime.
Yeah.
But like since this game, I like can't get enough of the art. because it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Because to think that somebody came up with it,
Right.
like somebody like slashing a sword,
Yeah, because the battle scenes are so great, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're picking where, okay, how am I going to engage? How am I going to engage these enemies, right? And then you hit fight, and then these battle scenes are like so cool, and the little quirky, fun responses after an attack,
Yeah.
like
You deserve that or something.
you deserve that, or may your soul.
Or like as your steward.
Yeah, as your steward, or may your soul find peace.
Yeah.
There's all these amazing interactions, and then it's not open world. You can explore a little bit.
Like
so
after battles.
yeah, and which is fine because I don't know, a lot of these open world games, they're beautiful, but they really take up a lot of time. So I'm in now Zelda, I'm over 100 hours into Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I looked at Metroid Dread and I beat that in about 50 hours.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread. And I wasted
I was
a lot.
telling you, no, you're not gonna get past
I know.
that.
So with Fire Emblem Engage, it's not open world, and that's fine with me. Going through chapters,
Right.
I'm fine with that.
But the thing with Fire Emblem Engage that's so cool is you level yourself up,
Right. right.
if you take the time and explore, you'll find pets that you can adopt and bring back to the Somniel. And then at the Somniel, which is your base, you can increase the bond experience with with a character and an emblem. So emblem rings.
Oh, right. So I did this because I'm not as far along in it as you are, but I went to the dinner, the cafeteria, or the dining hall.
Right.
And there was one of my friends, one of my group was hanging out, and I offered to have dinner with that person. By having dinner with that person, I increased my bond experience with them, and then that carries over into battle.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
With your emblem, if you do certain things, you'll both grow stronger. But then there's a certain point where if you reach a certain level, then it'll say maximum bond level achieved. Go to the Somniel to increase it. And so right now I've done that with two characters called Diamant and Roy, because Diamant is strong.
Is he?
Yeah, he's strong without the emblem, but we power him with the emblem. But anyway, it said that he was full bond, right? And so now, I'm in the middle of a battle, and I know that for a fact, but I need to go back into the Somniel to increase the bond experience if I ever can get out of this Chapter 10 battle. This one's really hard.
So you're stuck in kind of a Chapter 10 battle loop right now.
Yeah.
And there's a cool feature in Fire Emblem Engage also, which is the time
crystal.
The time crystal.
But you only earn that after level 3.
Which lets you go back to whatever
Yeah.
turn you want. If you lost a guy, you can go back, rewind almost.
But then I put myself in one situation one time that I was either lose myself or lose another character. And so I choose to lose the other character, because if you lose yourself, if you lose your unit that is your character, it'll force you to use the time crystal.
Oh, right. So you're the Divine Dragon.
Yeah.
If you die, the Divine Dragon, then you're screwed. You've got to use the time crystal and go back and rethink your strategy.
But the Divine Dragon isn't your name. You can choose your name.
Right.
Which is super cool. But then they'll kill in the beginning, you'll be introduced to new characters, right? That you'll get to know and love them. But then they're just gone like that. I'm not gonna say anything, but
Yeah, because there's some really cool people that come along that you're like, wait, this bozo is going to be a part of my group?
And then
you're
they turn out to be really good.
What's her name, Anna?
Yeah,
She was
Anna.
a thief?
She's a kid thief.
A kid thief. And she comes along and you're like, I don't want this punk as part of my group. And then you're like, yeah, you do.
It turns out she can chop someone's head off.
Yeah, she's and she's super sneaky, but she does it in a very cute way. She's like, I'm sorry, but I'm about to screw you up big time.
And she's super fast, so if a big barbarian type character is about to come at you, she'll most likely have them miss at you. So.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, there's a lot I'm still dealing with, and then of course we just got Metroid Prime, it just came out, and Fire Emblem Engage we're trying to finish before like Tears of the Kingdom, and there's some other RPGs we want to get into here. Some of the other stuff, I mean, Octopath Traveler 1, I want to play Octopath Traveler 2, which comes out soon, so I would love to be able to go through some of these games together because we haven't played either of them. So anyway.
I mean, with Zelda Breath of the Wild, I've already beat it.
Yeah, he already beat it. I haven't. So.
But then we got the DLC, and I realized there's just so much more to the game. I mean, I just did something that wasn't part of the DLC that I hadn't known. But
Like what?
Well, it's called the Thundra Plateau.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it's not part of the DLC. I'm not sure. We'll have to check. But with the DLC, there's so much more. Like, I was looking up because I heard like my friends were saying, "Oh yeah, did you get the Master Cycle? Did you get the Master Cycle?" And so I looked up on YouTube how to get the Master Cycle. I'm like, because I looked everywhere for it, all across the map, and I couldn't figure out how. And so it turns out it was just with the DLC. So I was like craving the DLC. But then I just went to fight Ganon. But it turns out you can continue from the save that you do right before you fight Ganon. So I just like, I went there, and like, if I weren't to like have come back to that save after fighting Ganon, like the first time, it would have looked like me going up to the castle and then just walking back away. Like, I'm right here. Nope, I don't want to.
Like, I want to go through all of these DLC things before I go to Ganon. So now, and the DLC, the downloadable content for Breath of the Wild is fantastic. And actually, I should mention there's a sale right now on the eShop. When they announced Tears of the Kingdom, there's a sale, and I think it's like 30% off the whole bundle. So if you haven't downloaded the DLC stuff, the expansion stuff with Breath of the Wild, there's some great stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I just found Ganon's Phantom armor, or the Phantom Ganon armor as part of the DLC.
Yeah.
So that was a little side quest that I did. I've beat 3 of the Divine Beasts, so I'm on my way. And the thing is, you had the card. You had the cart.
Yeah.
So you were using that. So I was playing Dread. I was playing some other stuff. So once you finished it, I'm like, all right, give me the card. now it's my turn. So anyway, been having so much fun going through these games, guys. We're really excited to do this. I'm thrilled to be able to go through some of these old games with my boy. And I hope you guys can do the same thing on your side. Again, we're playing a lot of these on the Switch. We're going to be playing some on the PS5 as well. Some games on the PS5, like maybe God of War Ragnarok we'll go through.
And then we kind of abandoned that a little because we had
some
Emblem,
Fire Emblem and stuff. So we need to go back to some of the PS5 stuff.
And then I was kind of jealous. I see all these like cool clips on the internet of like some of God of War Ragnarok, and I see it. And I'm just like, oh, no, not yet.
Yeah,
Nope.
No spoilers. So we'll try to be spoiler-free as much as we can here. We'll mention at the beginning of the episode if, hey, this is going to be a spoiler-filled episode. So, like, as we come back to Metroid Prime and we've gotten a lot further through the game,
there's probably going to be spoilers.
Yeah, there's going to be spoilers. So we'll let you know ahead of time. And if you haven't started the game yet, you might want to pause it and go back to the episode before where we kind of set it up and talk about it. So. Cool, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. We hope you subscribe and come on this journey with us for gaming, and hope you get to experience some fun times with your family, get together and play some of these great games, and we'll see you real soon. Good first episode, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.